Okay, good afternoon. Yeah, today I'll take you through a BDA pilot paper. Yeah, this was the BDA pilot paper, question 21. So I'll read the question. Amani Pharmaceuticals Limited is a mid-sized firm exploring prospects of future growth. The management of the company has prepared the statement of profit or loss for the year ended 30th June 2022, with forecasts of expected growth rates in the various line items for the next 3 years. This information is presented below. There's Amani Pharmaceutical Limited, then statement of profit or loss for the year ended 30th June 2022. We have revenue, then we have the growth rates. Then we come to additional information. 1, assume a corporation tax rate of 30%. 2, the growth in equity is only attributable to changes in retained profits. Int, in applying the growth rates, ignore changes in opening and closing balances. 3, total equity will grow only as a result of retained profits. Then required, A, prepare a spreadsheet showing the forecast statement of profit or loss for the next 3 years under each of the 3 scenarios. B, compute the following metrics for evaluating performance under each scenario. We have net profit margin, return on assets, and return on equity. Then part C, present a summarized dashboard with suitable graphs to highlight the revenues and net profit under each scenario. Yeah, so this is how you are supposed to tackle this question. So what I'll do on my question paper, these other percentage were not captured right. So I'll change all this into percentage first. So I'll take 2%. And then I'll also go to 2%. Sorry. So this is also 2%. This is 5%. 5%. 2%. I'm just changing this into percentage so that I'll be able to select them in the percentage form. This 10%. Change this to 10%. Then I was just changing this to be in percentage form. So I'll just highlight this and change it to percentage. I'll just come here and change to percentage. Yeah, so I have all those values in percentage all the way to total assets. So I'll go to the first part, which saying part A, prepare a spreadsheet showing the forecast statement of profit or loss for the next 3 years under each of the 3 scenarios. So this is what I will do. So I'll prepare 3 years. So this year ended on 30th June 2022. So it means the next year will be 30th June 2023, then 30th June 2024, then 30th June 2025. So this is what I will do. So under each scenario, so I'll start with the worst scenario. So I'll write worst scenario. Yeah, and I'll bold this. Let me bold it. Yeah, then I'll just put an highlighter because worst is a red flag. So this is what I'll do. I'll select this all the way. And let's put a red color in our scenario. That's okay. Yeah, so we have 2023. So I'll start from 2023. Then I'll go to 2024 and 2025. So this is how I'm going to do, because this is a forecast. So this is what I'll do. I'll take the revenue for the previous year, which is 4,500, but there's a growth rate under our scenario of 2%. So I'll multiply by bracket 1 plus the growth rate, and the growth rate is 2%. So because this paper is all about speed, I'll have to lock. So what I'll do, I'll lock the column where there's revenue, the column where there's revenue, all this through. So I'll lock only the column so that when I drag, it multiplies automatically. So I'll lock that. Then I'll also lock the column for the growth rates and our worst scenario, all the way from 2% all the way down. So I'll only lock the column, which is D. So once I've locked the column, then I'll close the bracket and enter. So once I enter, I can comfortably drag all through up to total assets. And you can see the values changes automatically. So if you want to confirm if you are right, you just come and click the second one. The second one saying C13, you multiply by 1 plus D13, which is true. So this C13, then you multiply by 1 plus D13. D13 is this 2%. So it means that our format is correct. So what you do, you just lock the first item so that you drag, because this paper is all about speed and accuracy. So I'll go to the 2024 and I'll pick this. Yeah, because the growth rate is still 2% and ours. So I'll pick 2%. But I'll also lock the column for 2023. All this. So I'll lock only H. Yeah, then I'll also come and lock the column for the growth rate. So I'll lock only D, the D column. Then I'll just close the bracket and enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag this all through. Yeah, so when I drag it, the values copy automatically. So I'll go to the next year. I'll pick that. Then I multiply by 1 plus the growth rate, which is still 2%. And I'll lock the column for 2024. So I'll lock the I column, this one. Then I also lock the growth rate column and our worst scenarios. I'll lock this. Then I'll close the bracket. Then I enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag and the values will be, love the values automatically. Yeah, all the way. Yeah, and just like that, I've done a forecast and our scenario. So this is what I will do. Now I'll come to gross profit. As you can see, the values are the same. It was copied, but there were no growth rates here. So I'll have to calculate these values now. So I just come and say equals to sum. Then I'll sum these two, because we know that revenue minus cost of goods sold is gross profit. So I'll just sum the two, because already cost of goods sold is a negative. So I'll sum the two. Yeah, and I enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag and the other values also changes automatically. Then I'll come also to total income. So I just say equals to sum. I'll sum these two and enter. So once I've summed that, I'll just drag and the values change automatically. Then I'll come to earning before interest, tax, and depreciation. Here, I say equals to sum. Yeah, I'll sum this from total income all the way. Then I say enter. So once I enter, I drag and the values for 2024 and 2025 changes automatically. Yeah, so I'll come to earning before interest and tax here. Just equals to sum. So I'll just drag this, enter. So when you drag, the values change automatically. Then I will come to earning before tax. So here we'll see is equals to sum. I'll just sum this two and enter. Then you just drag all through and the values will change. Then there's tax. We are told that the income tax was 30%. The corporation tax was 30%. So yeah, just come and say equals to. I'll introduce a negative sign, then say 30% times now the earning before tax. Yeah, so I'll get this. So once I have this, I just drag and then the values changes automatically. So profit after tax for the period here will be the sum between earning before tax and the income tax. So I'll just enter, get 432 and I'll drag on through. Yeah, then we have dividend. So we'll have return profit for the year to be equals to the sum of this 124. So I'll just drag this and the other values will change automatically. So we have return profit brought forward. We know that the return profit brought forward for 2023 should be the return profit carried forward for the year 2022 for the previous year. So in this case, the return profit carried forward was 735. So this 735 is what will form the basis of our return profit brought forward for 2023. So I just say there equals, then I select that 723. Yeah, and the return profit now carried forward for 2023 will be the sum of return profit for the year plus return profit brought forward. So I just say equals to, sorry for that. So I just say equals to, yeah, it's the sum of the return profit for the year and the return profit brought forward. So I'll sum these two and enter. So once I enter, I'll drag all the way so that when I make changes to those other items, it will change automatically. Then we are on total equity. We are told that the total equity changes only as a result of changes in retained profits. So this is what happens if in 2022 we had 2200. Then for 2023, we'll have to add the retained profit for the year. So we just add that for the year and we'll get the total equity as 2334. Yeah, for total assets, this is okay because already it has been multiplied by the growth rate. So I'll go now to the 2020, the year 2024. 2024 now, the balance carried, the balance brought down with the balance carried forward for 2023, the previous year. So just come and pick this. Yeah, and once you enter, because we have already dragged, this will change automatically. So we'll have 946. Yeah, and for 2025, the return profit will be return profit brought forward will be the return profit carried forward for 2024. So I'll pick this, enter, and automatically the values change automatically. The values will change automatically. Yeah, and that's how we are supposed to handle that question. So I'll go to the second scenario, which is now the base scenario, and repeat the same thing. So I'll write base. So I'll highlight it in the bold and bold it. So once I bold it, I'll just put an highlighter. So on the base, I'll choose yellow. Sorry. I'll highlight this, then choose yellow. So on the base, we'll have, it's the same thing. So I'll just copy the years. And maybe I just drag all the way. Yeah, there. So yeah, I'll come and say equals to, now for 2023, I'll pick this plus 1 plus, but now the growth rate now under base is now under revenue, we have 5%. So I said unlock the column, and also lock the column for the growth rate under base. So then I just say bracket, then enter. So once I enter that, I'll just drag it on through. and the values change automatically. So I'll go to the next year, and for 2024, the growth rate will be 2023 times bracket 1 plus the growth rate, which is 5%. So I'll also lock this column for 2023, and also lock the growth rate, which is E12. Lock the growth rate, which is E. So I'll only lock E, which is the column. Then I close the bracket and enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag on through, and I'll have my values there. Then I go to 2025, which is the last year under base scenario. So I'll pick that. Then I multiply by 1 plus the growth rate, still 5%. So I'll lock this. And I'll also lock the column for 2024. Close it. Then I'll enter and just drag this on. Drag on the way. This one. So I'll come and do the adjustments. So I'll start with the gross profit. So I just said gross profit is equal to the sum of these two. I'll enter, then I drag. Then I'll come to total income, same. This equals to sum. Love that. Enter. Then I drag. Then we'll have this earnings. So this will be equal to sum. Enter. Then I just drag. Then we'll have that equals to sum. I'll enter. Then drag on through. Then I'll also come here. So equals to sum, the sum of these two. Then I just drag on through. And I'll come here. Here now we have the income tax aspect. So I'll say equals to, the income tax was 30% times, it's 30% times the earning before tax. Enter. So once I get that, when I drag all that, those other values changes automatically. So I'll come here and say sum equals to sum of these two. So I'll get 450 and I'll drag on through. Yeah, then I'll come at the return profit for the year, and we will do a sum of the two also. Is 2. Then enter. So I'll just drag this on through, and the values changes automatically. So we have the return profit brought forward. So we say for 2023, it's supposed to be the return earnings carried forward for the previous year, which is 2022. So I just say equals, then I select this return profit. Then now carried forward is the sum of the two. So I just say equals to sum. So I'll sum these two. Enter. So I'll get 877. Yeah, then for equity, we say that it's affected by retained profit for the year. So I'll take the previous one, which is 22. Then for this year, I will add the retained profit for the year. I'll add this. Yeah, and that's all. So I'll go to the second year, and I'll start with retained. Start with the retained profit brought forward. So for 2024 will be the retained profit carried forward for 2023. So I'll just pick this. Yeah, just pick that, and maybe let me just drag this so that it changes automatically. Yeah, so we'll have 1,000 here. So I'll go now to the next year, which is this. So for this, the return earning brought forward will be 1,000 because that's the return earning carried forward for 2024. So I'll just pick it, put it there. So when I put it automatically, it's adjusted. So that's all. That's all for that. So we'll go to the last scenario, which is the best scenario. So I'll write best. So I'll just bold it. I'll bold it. Once I bold it, let me give it a, let me color it. So I'll give it green because best is associated. Best is associated with something green. So I'll give it a green color. So the same process. I'll check the ears, and I think I'll just copy this. Yeah. So I'll start again. So I'll say the revenue is 4,500. And multiply 1 plus, but now under best, the growth rate is 10%. So I'll pick 10%. So I'll lock the column under revenue. So I'll lock that column, the dollar sign. Then I'll also lock the F column, the column with the growth rate. Then I'll close the bracket and enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag on through. Sorry. Let me undo. Yeah, so I'll just drag here up to there. Yeah, the values, you can see the values change automatically. The values changes automatically. So I'll go through the next one, which is I'll pick for 2023. Then I multiply by 1 plus the growth rate, which is still 10%. So I'll lock this. I'll also lock. So yeah, so the column for 2023. And then I see this. So once I enter, I'll just drag all through. Yeah, and they change automatically. Then I'll go to the last year. I'll pick 2024. Then I multiply by 1 plus the growth rate, which is 10%. But I'll have to lock the column for 2024. So I'll lock it, then I'll also lock the column for the growth rates under best. So I'll also lock that. Then I'll close the bracket and enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag all through. Yeah. Then I'll come and do the adjustments. So I'll start with the gross profit. So I'll just come here and say equals to sum. Then I'll pick this 2, enter. Then I'll drag this all through. Then I'll come to this. It also equals to sum. So I'll sum this. Then I just drag. Then I'll come here. Say equals to sum. So then also here, say equals to sum. Enter. Yeah, so you just drag and it changes automatically. Then also come here, say equals to sum. I'll add this. Then I'll drag this. Then when I come here now, I'll calculate the corporation tax. So I just say negative 30% because I want it to be negative times earning before tax. So once I enter that, just drag that. I just come here and say equals to sum. Plug this to get 488. Then I just drag on through. They will change automatically. So this is now the retained earning for the year. So this is the sum of these two. I'll enter. Sorry. Just come here and say equals to sum. I'll sum this two. I'll have 180. Then when I drag, it change automatically. So I said that the balance brought, the return earning brought forward is the one for comparable forward for last year. So I'll just take 735, enter. So that the sum will be this 2. So this equals to sum. I'll add this 2, enter. Then for equity, I'll take this and add to return earning for the year result. That's all. So I'll go to the second one, and balance brought forward will be with this. So let me just drag this so that it change automatically. Sorry. So when I drag, let me drag this. So it changes automatically. So I'll this 915 was 4. Yeah, so I'll go to this, whereby the retained profit brought forward will be this. So that they change automatically. Yeah, so with that, you are done with the first. Yeah, you are done with the first. With the required A, prepare a spreadsheet showing the forecasting of profit or loss for the next 3 years under each of the 3 scenarios. Yeah, the 3 scenarios are here: worst, best, and best scenario. So you are done with that. You will get your 10 marks. Get your 10 marks. So you go to the next part. You are saying compute the following metrics for evaluating performance under each scenario. So you have net profit margin, return on assets, and return on equity. So this is how you do it. So I'll do it here. So just saying we have worst. We have worst scenario. So under worst scenario, we start with the year 20. So I just copy the years. So I'll just come here and say 2023. And maybe drag it. Then I change this to general. Yeah, then you go to base. This scenario. Then I'll do the same. I just copy the years there. Then I drag. Then I'll change this to general. Then I go to the last one, which is the best scenario. So I'll go to the best scenario. Just copy the years the same. And I drag. And when you drag, it will give you that. So I'll just change this into general. General. Yeah, so here we'll have net profit margin. Then we'll have return on assets. Then we have return on equity. So this will start. I'll start with the worst scenario. So I'll calculate the net profit margin under the worst scenario. And we know the formula for net profit margin is the net profit divided by revenue. So our net profit here is the retained profit for the year. Yeah, the retained profit for the year. It's the profit after tax. It's the profit after tax. Yeah, profit after tax. Profit for the period. That's the retained earnings. Yeah, that's the net income. So we'll take the profit after tax, which in this case, under the 3 scenarios, I'll come to worst scenario, and I'll pick the profit after tax. It's this 432. So I'll divide it by the revenue under the same year. So the revenue here was that. So then I'll enter. So once I enter that, I can just drag. Yeah, and that it will change automatically. So just come here and change it to numbers. Yeah, so the values will be there. So when you click 2024, you realize it's I-25 divided by I-12. Yeah, which is representing 2024. Yeah, so you go to the next one. Return on assets is also net earnings, which is profit after tax. You divide by total assets. So I'll come here under worst. Then I'll still go to profit after tax. It is this one. Then I'll divide it by total assets. So total assets here will be this. Yes, I enter. So once I enter, I just drag and it will copy all those years. So I just come here and change to number. Then return on equity is profit after tax divided by total equity. So the same thing, I'll still go to 432. Then I divide by total equity, which is in this case is this one. So I just enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag all through. So I'll change this to number, so that the numbers come. So that's worst scenario. So I'll go to base scenario and do the same. So I'll take the net profit for net profit margin. It says profit after tax divided by revenue. So I'll go under base, and we have for 50 here. You divide by the revenue, which in this case is this. Enter. So once I enter, you just drag. Then you can change this into numbers. Then I'll go the same, I'll do to return on assets. I'll pick profit after tax. Then I divide by the total assets. Enter. Then I just drag this. Then I will change this to number. Then I'll go to the last one, which is return on equity. So I'll still pick the profit after tax. Then I divide by total equity, which in this case is that. So I'll enter. So once I enter, I'll drag this on through. Then I change this into number. Yeah, that's all. So the same I'll do to best scenario. I'll go to best scenario. Best scenario. This is the profit after tax, and I'll divide it by revenue because that's the net profit margin. Then I'll just drag and change this to the number. Then I go to return on assets, it still be revenue. Then I'll divide by the assets. Then I just drag. Yeah, I'm dragging so that it picks the other years automatically. It picks the other years. So I'll go to the last one, which is the return on equity. I'll pick the profit after tax. Then I divide by total equity. Then I enter. So once I enter, I'll just drag. So when I drag, I'll just change this to number, and their values are there. Yeah. So with this, we are done with. This is how we were supposed to do part B of this question. So we have answered net profit margin under both the three scenarios. Under the three scenarios. So maybe let me just highlight this. Maybe I bold this and bold also this. And I'll also bold this. Yeah, and with that you are done. You have your 6 marks. You have your 6 marks. 2 marks for this, 2 marks for this, 2 marks for this. So this was the ratio. They were testing the ratios, the ratio analysis. If you still recall the formula. So I'll go to part C. Present a summarized dashboard with suitable graphs to highlight the revenues and net profit under each scenario. So this is what I'll do under C. So I just say C. Yeah, so this is what I'll do. Yeah, I have to analyze. So I'll start with the worst scenario. Then let me, the years are from 2023 to 2025. So just copy. Then I'll just drag it through. Then let me just change this to general. And then also go to base scenario. And I'll do the same. Copy this. Then I drag. up to 2025. And I change this to general. And then I'll go to the last one, which is the best scenario. Just write it there. Best. So under best scenario, we do the same. Yeah, these I'm just copying the years the way they appear on our forecast. Yeah, it was 2023 to 2025. Yeah, there's nothing much. I'm just transferring the data. So under what scenario, let me just highlight it. Bold. Also bold this. Bold it and also bold this. Bold this. That's okay. So this is the question they're saying, present a summarized dashboard with suitable graphs to highlight the revenues and net profit under each scenario. So just come here and say under revenue and net profit. Just come here and say revenue. We just go to under what scenario, just say equals, then you pick revenue was this from 2023. Just enter. Then when you drag, it will give you the other values up to 2025 automatically. Then for net profit, we say that net profit is the profit after tax. So you come here, pick this. Yeah, that's it. So you just drag. When you drag, it copies the other values automatically. Yeah, so I'll go to base and I'll do the same. I'll say revenue and net profit. Net. So I'll copy the same. So under base scenario, my revenues here is here. So I'll hit that. Then when I drag, it will give me up to 2025. And you can see it's 5209. And when you come here, you'll realize that it's 5209. Yeah, so I'll go to net profit and do the same under base scenario. So I'll come here and look at the profit after tax. That's the net profit. So I'll pick this. And I just drag it so that it copies the other values up to 2025. So I'll do the same to the best scenario. So I'll say revenue and net profit. Come and say revenue under best scenario. So best scenario is here. So I'll pick this. And when I drag, it will save me time. I can copy the other values automatically. So I'll go to net profit under best scenario. Go to net profit under best scenario, and then my net profit is here. This is the profit after tax. So I just drag there, and we'll have our values there. Very clear. So once you are done with this, so you are going to present this in a graph, because the question was present a summarized dashboard with suitable graphs to highlight the revenues and net profit under each scenario. Yeah, so I've done in that one, each scenario. So what you do, this is how you introduce the graph. So you just highlight, you'll highlight this. Then you go to insert. Then you go to recommended charts. Yeah, then I'll pick this. Then you just say okay. So once you okay, there are so many graphs which are coming up. So you can choose the one which you feel looks neat on your side. So I think I'll just choose this, the first one. Let me just choose that. Then I'll write the chart title. I'll just write worst scenario. Just write worst scenario. Then I'll click outside. So once I click, I can be able now to, sorry. Let me undo. So let me drag this. So I'll drag this. I'll drag this down here. Yeah. Click outside. So you can see the graph is there. And you can see for 2023, we have 2023 And we have revenue is represented by blue, while net profit is represented by orange. So when you compare, we have 2023, 2024, and 2025 under worst scenario. Yeah, then I'll go to best scenario. The same way, just highlight all this up to 25. Then you just go to insert. Then you go to recommended. Then you pick, you say okay. So once you say okay, there are so many yeah. So I'll pick this with the values. For this, I'll pick this with the values, and let me just select that. So I'll give the chart title. So this was base, base scenario. Base scenario. So I'll click outside. Then I'll drag it. Here. Drag it here. And a base scenario. Yeah, and you can see how the dashboard looks smart and presentable. So you see the revenue, you see the net profit. Yeah, then you can even see the values. They are telling us that revenue is 47.25 in 2023. Is it true? Yeah. And net profit is 450. Yeah, it's shown. So it's a good presentation there. So we'll go to the last one. So you just highlight also this to that. Then you go to insert, the same process, then recommended. Then you just say okay. So once you say okay, you can choose from this. You can choose any. Yeah. So yeah, I'll choose this now. Yeah, I'll choose this. Then I'll introduce the chart title. So I'll say this is now the best scenario. So best scenario. Then I'll just click outside. Then I can drag this. Let me drag this here. So I'll drag it here so that it appears below the best scenario, the data for the best scenario. And you can see even under the best scenario, we have revenue, net profit. You can see the presentation and even with the value. So you can just check. You can see in 2023, it was almost 5,000 revenue. Yeah. So that's how you're supposed to do the dashboard presentation. That's how you're supposed to do the dashboard presentation. And you'll have your full 20 marks. Yeah, you'll have your free 20 marks in this question. So this was a pilot paper question 21 under BDA. So that's how you are supposed to do that question. Yeah, that's how you are supposed to handle that question. So once you know how to forecast, then you'll be able to do the part B and C. So thank you for your time, and I'd like you all to subscribe to my channel so that I can reach a higher population. And also when you subscribe, when I post a video like this, you'll be notified first so that you get assisted on your BDA journey. So thank you and have a blessed evening.